All right. Good morning. Hello. How's everyone doing today? We are joined on Tuesday, the 7th of April. This is Masters Week. But that's not what we're here today for. We're here to talk about something even, I think, better than the Masters. One of my dear friends, Bailee Chapman, and her boss, a phenomenal human being, Sean Tanner with CPS LED. Welcome to Inside ProCents.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I am so excited for our audience to learn a little bit more about what CPS LED is doing. So Sean, give us a little background on how you got in the business and what problems you saw and why you created CPS and what that's been like for you. And then we'll go over to Bailee.
All right. So back in 2006, I was actually working for Illinois Toolworks, which is a big corporation, and we had adhesives and sealants division, and that was one of my divisions. And in Raleigh, the Cree facility was there, and they were having heat sinking issues with LED diodes. Back then, the diodes were through pinhole, and they went through the heat sink. So they were having heat sink issues with them getting hot spots underneath where the diodes go into the aluminum. And the product that we had was an aluminum silicone, and we solved their heat sinking issues with that product. So it became something that fascinated me about the technology at that point in time. And I could see the vision of it revolutionizing lighting and the energy savings. It just became a no-brainer. So after 1,000 samples in my garage, I decided that this is the business I want to be in. I want to be a forefront of technology and understand and grow this opportunity to what it could be. So I started the business in 2008, and I nearly starved to death because the tube light was $100 a piece back then.
Oh yeah.
And as the technology was better and better, and the cost came down, when it hit about 2012 in a sweet spot where the return on investment made sense for the customer, we really took off into our growth pattern at that point in time.
All
and
right.
so that's kind of what led me to starting CPS, and then the relationships like yours and that we've developed over time. Those things just get better and better, and then your customer becomes your friends, and it's a big world, but it's a small community.
Absolutely. I can say I remember those $100 tubes, and we were getting probably the best 75 lumens per watt. So it's changed a lot. And 8-foot tubes back in the day, God, they didn't know how to manage that sag in the middle. It was a nightmare. That was just, I was like, please don't order 8-foot tubes because of the shipping issues and then also the sag. I'm glad someone else remembers that. And I know people are watching this going to be like, oh yeah, I remember how bad that was. And look where we're at now.
Exactly.
Bailee, tell me how you got involved with CPS LED and kind of your role into the LED lighting world and what you're working on now.
Yeah. So actually, my lighting experience kind of all started when me and you started working together way back when. And then, Sean had reached out to you, and at the time he was looking to hire somebody in Georgia. And you just happened to know the perfect person that would make a good fit for him. And you connected me and Sean together, and it's been wonderful ever since.
All right. So
I've been at CPS
how long
now
has that been?
3 years.
3 years now?
3 years, yeah.
All right. Nice. So for those that watching, if you think I just sit here and try to look pretty, no, I actually try to connect people. So and for someone to make it 3 years in the lighting business, for people in management, you know how hard it is to keep good talent and find good talent. So we're not just about selling product, we're about connecting people. So tell me, if we had to define CPS in a quick little elevator pitch, what would that look like for you, Sean? Because obviously you're high level, you're overseeing everything. And then Bailee, what does that look like for you?
So from my perspective here, for me, constantly creating value to our end user customer through our distribution network is what we try to do day in and day out, because there's 100 brands of LED lighting products out there, and what we try to do is create value. So we try to sell using ROIs, return on investments for the end user customers. We try to protect the integrity for our distributors throughout the marketplace. And we don't sell everybody across the street corner because we just know that's not the right platform for us as a company. And when we create value for the end user with our distributor, we win most projects we go after. When we don't create that value, we don't get that project. So what we've learned is creating value with our distributor for an end user is where we're best at, whether that value is re-engineering something that someone else has already done to get it within the budget, or whether we're looking at adding advanced controls and whips onto a 12-foot whip onto a fixture that they need 50 of for an area of the plant, that we can do that in-house and ship quickly for them. Whatever that value creation is, whether it's meeting a 2-year return on investment on a project or an advanced control option installed to do something that nobody else does regularly. Whatever that application issue is, or whatever the need is to create value for the customer, is what we try to do every single day when we come to work.
I love it. Bailee, what's that for you look like in the field?
Yeah, so in the field, you have that, trying to add the value, but it also have the building of the relationships are really important. And making sure you're meeting your customers' needs, listening to what they have to say, and becoming friends with them. I know that's something you taught me way back when, how important it is to, listen to the stories that they have to say and building that relationship. So that way it's not just a transaction. And they keep coming back to you for all of their needs and what that looks like. So I think that's important for us, as well as, customer service. And being there for our customers and answering in a timely manner is something that's so important too.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and that's the thing. It is about the relationships between people, not the transactions. Transactions will come and go. I mean, we've all seen them. We're like, oh, we've got this one to the 1 yard line. We think we're getting ready to cross the goal, and it falls apart. And that's because it's not because of any particular thing that a person did. It just was circumstance. But if you hold those against people, you're like, I'm not doing business with them again. But you're like, you know what, we'll get it on the next one, because there's so many opportunities. We've talked, Sean, you mentioned starting in this in, I think 2012, 2008. So, I mean, this is a 20-year-old technology that we're seeing with the white LEDs, not just the reds and greens and blues and so on and so forth. So this is something that, has developed, generational, wealth for people, but also generational relationships. And being transactional is the quickest way to get out of the business. It's when you're focused only on the dollars. So one of the things I like always to ask is, when you're looking at going after new clients, or what would you look for, because we're always targeting, or we're always prospecting, let's put it that way. What are you looking for? And if somebody wanted to say, hey, I want to try to work with CPS, what's that look like? So what are you targeting? Sean, you mentioned end users and also your distribution partners. But also, if someone says, hey, I want to pick up the phone and call and open an account, what does that look like? I know that's two questions in one, but, thoughts?
So for me, I'm on a strategic level. I'm more looking at, okay, where do we need to add a distributor, and where do we need to add, the right distributor? We don't want to just add a distributor and us not be a fit for their business model. We would rather back up, take our time, and add the people who we feel we fit best with, because to your point, the relationship of, if I got to go to Green Bay every time a meeting happens and try to get a relationship, I'm not going to get that relationship seeing the guy in Green Bay or North Dakota twice a year. Mm-hmm. The relationship's going to have to be organic here where we are with the people we deal with, and let that go from Bailee to me up to corporate. It mm-hmm. can't come from corporate down to Bailee in the field everywhere across Eastern US. So I'm looking strategically as what distributors are the best fit in the areas we don't seem to be doing as well as we should be. And the areas we're doing great in, what are we doing differently there than we are over here? And sometimes, every time, it's the relationship that we have with that location and those folks who bought into what we offered, and we're working with them diligently through the things that we fit for them on, as opposed to not having that relationship over here. And here's a plug for ProCents. For us, that is helping us develop better relationships, being a member of ProCents, because the areas we're not strong in, you guys have somebody in those areas that now we're connecting with.
Yeah.
And so that's what we see from my perspective on strategic to answer that question. So Bailee can answer it in the field.
Yeah, I think for me, it's looking at like where my territory is and where I can grow, whether that's growing the relationship with some of our distribution or trying to look at new distribution, just depending on where's my business at and where do I need to grow it and what can I do to make that happen and where can I key it in at.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So the one thing that I think is important, and I think y'all understand it as most of all, is the relationships and, you know, being involved. And, you know, not just coming in transactionally. So when you're working with the distributors, yeah, you have an SOP, you have a written terms and conditions, but having a relationship, you know, you're not trying to break terms and conditions, but you're like, hey, this happened, it's a one-off. And having that relationship allows you to get things done, you know, whether it be through a warranty or, hey, we didn't have this, there was an error here, and taking care of your people, because taking care of your people at the forefront is what leads to long-term relationships and on the backside, because you didn't ask questions. You're like, hey, there's a problem that someone's yelling at them and we've got to take care of it. Let's resolve it on the back end, but let's take care of it here on the front end. Because when you're able to do that, you're able to say, hey, we're in this as together. We're as a partnership in this to alleviate any pain points that someone might have. Would you say that's a fair statement for both of y'all?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. I love that. Well, what's new coming out? Any new products coming on? Any new lines that you're looking at, you know, or, you know, expanding? Because y'all have got some phenomenal industrial stuff, where I'd say high bays, 2x4s, 2x2s. But what's, you know, something that y'all are working on that y'all are saying, hey, we're going to grow into this market? So
solar's been around for a long time, but there was a lot of bad products. Oh, buy this solar whatever here and put it out there and watch it do wonderful things, and to watch it crash and burn, essentially.
Okay.
So we've watched that market and had our toe in the water, waiting for the bathwater to get warm enough to go, okay, now's time to go. So we're launching a full-scale solar, integrated solar type product line. We got some things on our website now, and more coming every month throughout the rest of this year. But so we see that opportunity for the solar, because now with the lithium batteries and now with the extended technology and the solar panels that can absorb more of the sunlight at a time, and that footprint shrinking down to where it makes sense. Now it's becoming affordable. It's kind of like LED, from the $100 tube to the $20 tube. Well, the solar is the same way. It was $3,000 for a 100-watt solar array, but now it's $800, and that makes a lot more sense. So we're kind of looking at the solar piece for a lot of exterior type stuff, because there's truly some value-added cost savings when nobody has to run power out to a shed that's on the back of somebody's property, or a building at a facility that they don't want to have to put in a new transformer or whatever. And we can now come with a full scale of floods, wall packs, street lights, whatever it is, floodlights, to just put over there with nothing else on it, and just put in that remote area. There's value creation and cost savings way above just $1,000 for a fixture. Now we're not running $5,000 with the conduit and wire and digging up a parking lot and $30,000 with the stuff over here. So now that solar's in that cost of value relationship, we're going to be moving forward, and that's one of the technologies. And then on the standard linear products, the advanced controls continues to get better and better and better on that side of it. We now see the utility companies recognizing that as well, and they're now starting to rebate the controls as much as they did the fixtures.
Yeah.
So the controls aspect, because there's true value creation in there as well with the additional energy savings that you get. So that's the two areas we see the most drive forward with, and it goes back to relationships. When we're bringing value solutions to you, Matt, like that, to have a solar opportunity or have an additional advanced control that can do things that previously none of us in the LED business could. Now we've created a value to you, and we have the relationship with you to go, hey man, I want you to have this first because this is going to be big. Yeah. Johnny contractor out there that doesn't have to run under that concrete anymore, that asphalt, taking these products here. Yeah. And now we've created value and put you first to market. And that's what we see coming down the line. And then strategically, I've got Bailee and Alex both going through their territories and redefining what is our customer.
Okay.
Who do we need to develop relationships with that we don't have? And where's the business moving at? Is it moving from in the plants to the contractors? Is it moving from contractors to in the facilities? Because we're seeing a spin situation where some facilities are going, I've hired this contractor, they're doing everything, we don't even buy that stuff anymore. And the flip side of that is I've got facilities going, we only get labor quotes on from them anymore because we can buy the materials a lot less than they can. Yeah. So us trying to go, okay, now we got two different dynamics here. We still got a contractor and an end user, and we got to understand who's buying the material, because now we need to know who the decision maker is material wise for us and for you.
Absolutely.
So defining that and understanding that is their challenge.
I love to hear that. So I'm going to jump in here real quick. So for those that are listening to this here and interested in learning about the solar LEDs, because you know what LEDs are, but you're wanting to see a demo, you want to have, see this lovely Miss Bailee come out and show you this product. I want Bailee to talk about what area she's covering. Alex isn't on the call today because he's out there working. But Alex, or I'm sorry, Bailee, tell me what areas you're covering and how people can get in touch with you. So when they want to see these products, they can reach out to you directly.
Yeah. So I live in South Georgia. So I cover Georgia, Florida, and Alabama are the main states that I cover. And then I kind of go through the whole Gulf Coast and go up to Texas and Oklahoma and around to Arkansas as well.
Yep.
So,
nice. And you've had some success out because I think we talked last week or the week before, and you were not only in Texas, you were also in Tennessee, maybe a couple weeks before that. So you're getting around, and creating this value not only for the distributors but also for the contractors. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
Yep.
So for those of y'all that haven't seen Bailee yet and that are part of the ProCents community, I'm going to ask you to please reach out to Bailee. I'll put her contact information in the description of the video below, and also any other links that we have, so you can reach out to her directly, because it is important to see it, touch it, feel it. And also to know that this product is in these states. So when you're looking for it, Sean's sitting in the Carolinas right now. I think you can see that desk right there. He's hosted many lunch and learns there. He's hosted people there. So please, I want you to reach out to these folks because they are doing it right. And that's the most important thing. When you have people who care and want to do it right, that's the people that ProCents wants to be behind and support in what their growth is. Is there anything that y'all would like to leave for, as we close this out, for those that might be watching, and, something, a value that y'all see, or, just, anything like that?
Bailee, you want to go first?
Man, put me on the spot. I just think relationships is what has been so important. That was something, Matt, that like you taught me almost, Matt, it's been almost 10 years ago, or well over at this point. So I think that's the biggest thing for me that I've taken away.
Love it.
Yeah, I will second that. Relationships are the most important factor. You know, everybody has LED lighting out there that manufactures it, so you can buy from anyone. But when you get the relationship and you earn the customer's business, and then they develop a relationship into a friendship, it's a lifelong friendship. And most of the people that you do that with are extremely wonderful people. That's what this business is about, is having relationships and enjoying your time while we all work together in this business and celebrating people, because it comes back to that. At the end of the day, it's all about the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sean, Bailee, I greatly appreciate y'all taking a little bit of time out of your day to do this, and also tell the world and our listeners about CPS LED and what y'all are doing and the value and the relationship that you're creating. One thing I do want to let everyone know is coming up August 16th, 17th, and 18th down in Orlando, Florida at the Rose and Shingle Creek. Bailee and CPS LED will be there. So if you don't get a chance to see her beforehand, please come check us out at the show. There'll be links in the bio as well to how you can register for the event. But as we close this out, as always, we want to do it right. We want to do it with culture. To all the future, past, and current members, we always ask that you do what you say you're going to do, lead with integrity, and also know that ProCents is the power of connections. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Inside ProCents. Thank you all for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Matt. Have a great week.
Thank you.